Hi everyone, please welcome with me Daniel Gerardo Ytterdahl from Norway. Daniel grew up in Norway as a son of a Filipina mother and a Norwegian father. He spent most of his childhood and teenage years in Norway before he made the move to the Philippines in 2012. Still living in the Philippines, he is now making a name for himself as Daniel RC, a talented solo artist and rapper who loves rapping in different languages. He is also a member of several rap collectives like Agaron, Mothax Philippines, and Region 808. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Perfect. Welcome. Hi, Daniel. How are
Thank you.
you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm good. I'm feeling great. Um,
Awesome.
I actually have a little bit of a hangover, but just being on the podcast makes me feel good. So ready.
Awesome.
I'm ready for this. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy, very busy.
Thanks for
So,
having me.
and just as a little anecdote for the listener, the way we met was actually on the longest flight ever, the longest flight in our life, I assume, since we had no screens, no TV shows, no charger, nothing. So all we had was literally each other
Yeah.
and
No food and no drinks and nothing. Right.
nothing.
I
Yeah.
I think I didn't do proper research. I just bought the ticket and then we were on the flight, and it seems like everything is missing. But I don't
Yeah.
want to name drop the the company, but well,
No.
I was surprised, and I guess
Yep.
that's how we ended up talking as well, because there was nothing
Exactly.
else to do, right?
Exactly. Everything happens for a reason. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten to know each other at all, I guess. Maybe a hi, here, do you want a nut?
Yeah.
So that's
True.
awesome. Destiny, I guess, because now I can talk to a really, really interesting person. So here we are
Mhm.
today.
Thank you. Here we are.
um, let's dive right into the topic. Um, You are originally from Norway, but currently living in the
Yeah.
Philippines. Do you mind just telling us a little bit of how life and growing up in Norway was for you?
Life in Norway. Okay, so I actually grew up on the countryside of Norway. Oh,
Nice.
I have a cat. Say hi to the viewers.
Oh, cute.
I'll put him down. I grew up in a place called Heggedal, and it's kind of like on the top of a mountain in the woods, like
Oh,
very
wow.
remote. So we only had me and my brother. By the way, I have a brother. We only had like a few friends in the neighborhood, and they were
Yeah.
we were living like small huts or cottages or what you call them. Not really
Yeah.
even like a proper house. It's like very small, and
Interesting.
yeah, it was great. We were just running around in the woods, or if it's winter time, we're like walking on cross country skis around the house, like in a circle around and around. And
Sounds like amazing childhood, to be honest.
it's very Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when I turned around 10, we moved to another place. We got a bigger house. It was still countryside, but there was a lot more houses in the area, so
Yeah.
we always had other kids to play with. So now we're able to play like football and basketball and stuff like that because there's a little more people to play with. It's not
Yeah.
just a little group.
Yeah.
And yeah, so most of my childhood was kind of like on the countryside, I would say,
Yeah.
except for a few years in the big city in Oslo. Um, and then when I grew up, I started studying in Oslo, which is the capital city,
Yeah.
and that's when the city life kind of started for me, like living in a
Yeah.
big city.
How old were you when you moved to Oslo?
Probably 19, I would say, around 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started studying like linguistics and languages actually in the University of Oslo. Yeah.
Right. Is that where your interest for like even rapping in different languages is coming from?
Probably because as a teenager, I didn't care about languages at all. Like I would learn Spanish at school, and then I would just be like, "This is so boring." And then I guess when I got a little bit older, as I'm meeting people from other countries and stuff,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting actually to be able to communicate, with
that's
people.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also felt like it was more like a chore to learn. I had French at school and I just didn't really, yeah, it wasn't that much of a thing for me. And now I really wish I would have kept going because it would be so cool to actually speak French now.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and you were growing up biracial, so your mom is Filipino and your dad is Norwegian.
Yeah.
Did your mom decide at one point to go to Norway, or how do you know a little bit about your mom's story of
Mm,
leaving the Philippines?
yeah. She was very young. She was just a teenager, like 13 years old. So the whole family actually moved to Norway. It
Right.
started with my grandma, my mother's mother. She somehow she applied for work in Norway, and
Randomly.
I'm not sure like how the full story. I
Yeah.
actually maybe they told me, but I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
But I guess Norway was starting to open up a little bit to immigrants to come for work, and
Yeah.
she came here to here. She came to Norway to work. Um, my grandma, and then she actually had to work for 4 years until she was able to like get her children over to Norway.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so they were with their grandparents for a while, and then
Yeah.
suddenly they went to Norway to stay with their mom, and then yeah, I think it was kind of weird that they hadn't really seen their mom for like 4 years, and then they're
Yeah.
back with her now, and it's a new country, and there's snow everywhere. It was
Very different from the
very
Philippines, that's
different,
for
yeah,
sure.
very
Oh
different.
God.
So yeah, so she grew up her teenage years all in Norway,
Yeah.
and then she met my dad like at a kind of like a party disco thing, but not a proper club because it
Yeah.
was something for the teenagers that aren't 18 yet, or
All right.
like I don't know what to call it, teenage clubs.
Yeah. Teenage disco.
Yeah, something like that. Like no alcohol, just fun.
Yeah. Cute.
Yeah. So that's how they met.
Nice. And how is it for you, or was it for you, to grow up biracial? Do you feel like there was any kind of disadvantage, or maybe even advantages, like being able to grow up probably already speaking two different languages, I assume?
Um, disadvantage. Yeah, there's the racism, of course, which
Yeah.
which in Norway, I it probably depends like which specific place. I grew up in a place where everybody's white except for us, or except for us and a few other kids. So it's
Yeah.
like you're different, so they're gonna treat you like you're different. They're gonna let
Yeah.
you know. Um, at the same time, yeah, the advantages I feel like are because you're familiar with two cultures,
Yeah.
and it's easier to get along with people. It's
Yeah.
like as I'm growing up or growing older, I'm seeing more of the advantages that
Yeah.
as a kid I probably didn't see as much.
Yeah.
Um, actually, at the same time, I didn't grow up speaking Filipino.
Right.
Yeah, because I think my parents had read that if you teach your kids more several languages, they're not gonna master the main one, like the Norwegian. Their Norwegian is gonna suck. You have to not don't teach them Filipino, something like that. So they actually didn't teach us.
Oh no. What a shame, because now it says like
Yeah,
if you teach a child early enough two languages, they will master both of them really quickly.
that's the thing, right? But I
Yeah,
think at the time, either they didn't have the proper information, or yeah, probably.
fair enough. Yeah. All right. So when did you start learning Filipino?
as an adult, actually, like as soon as I became an adult, like 17, 18 years old, it's through the music, I guess. I started getting friends that are Filipino.
Yeah.
I started to go to Oslo a lot, and I was rapping. Started rapping with another Filipino guy. His name is Yellow Kid, uh,
Right.
from Oslo as well. And whenever I was hanging out with them, I was the only guy from my place coming to
Yeah.
Oslo, and then there's a bunch of Filipinos together, and they would never they're always speaking Tagalog, which is the main Filipino language.
Yeah.
Always speaking Filipino, and I couldn't understand anything. So I was feeling like, damn, I'm the worst Filipino ever. This sucks. So
Yeah.
I was thinking that I really gotta learn.
Yeah.
From there, I started learning from my friends and online, and
Did
yeah,
you not
basically,
speak? Is your mom still able to speak Tagalog?
yeah, she can, she can.
Yeah, so you could practice at least a little bit.
Sometimes I bother her. I hit her up and like, what's this in Tagalog, or what's this in? How do I say this sentence, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do that sometimes, uh, and I feel like I'm still not. I'm I'm still not perfect speaking it perfect, but I've learned a
Yeah.
lot. It's like with
That
my girl, I live with my girlfriend here, and we're speaking Tagalog. So
yeah. That helps as well to be surrounded by it all the time and having to speak it. It's like
yeah,
really
it
good.
does. Yeah,
Cool. So, why and when and how did you decide to actually move over to the Philippines after all the effort of your family going over to Norway? You were like,
right, right.
okay, let me move back.
Let me move back. I actually was probably planning on just staying for 1 year or something. This is back in 2011, 2012.
Yeah,
Um, Several reasons. Yeah, one of them is actually the thing about the Filipino language that I didn't speak it. So
yeah,
I wanted to learn it. It's like, what better way to learn Filipino than coming to the Philippines, right?
so true.
And also like learning more about the culture and the people here,
Yeah,
because I feel like even the Filipinos in Norway are not quite the same as the Filipinos here.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't mean that in any positive or negative ways. It's just neutral. It's just
Neutral
they're
statement.
shaped by where they grow up or where they're staying, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
I came here, and then also actually, another reason I came here was to try to do the music thing in the Philippines, because I had been doing it in Norway, and I came on vacation to the Philippines once,
Right.
and I met some rappers, Filipino rappers. One of them is his name is Sly Kane, and he kind of helped me a lot. Like
Yeah.
was suddenly able to perform at the same shows as the biggest artists in the Philippines, like the biggest rappers. Like
Wow.
Glock 9 is like the biggest rapper, I think, or one of them. Suddenly I'm opening up for him, so it's like, what the hell?
That's great. It's like a golden ticket or something.
Kind of like that. So I was like, man, the music thing seems more fun in the Philippines, or easier, or I don't know what to say, but
Yeah.
appealing, right? Because already tried it in Norway, and I had a lot of fun in Norway. But I just wanted to try it here as well in the Philippines. So that's
Yeah.
also a reason I came here, and I enjoyed it. So I've been staying here ever since
Yeah.
2012, I guess.
Yeah, I
It's
hear
a long
that
time.
story. Yeah. It's often the story I that it's like, oh, I just thought I go over for a year and then
Yeah,
oh, I stayed here ever since. So
yeah.
and just for everyone who's listening, how did your whole music career or the idea of making music, becoming a rapper specifically, how did that start? Like, was it when you were really
Mm.
young that you were already interested in music and rapping and
Yeah, I was kind of young. I was, I'd say around 12, 13, or something like that.
Wow.
Me and my brother, I have a bigger brother, 1 year older than me. We would download. No, we bought, like, back in the days, everybody bought magazines in the store. So
Yeah.
we would bought like a PC magazine, and it came with a CD.
Right.
On
I
the CD,
remember
there's a
those.
demo of a. It's like a beat making software.
Yeah.
So we were making beats on like a demo version of a program. So it kind of sucks. You can't save your project. So whenever you turn off your computer, it's
It's
gone the
gone.
next time. But you could export. So you made something, you could export it. And so we're
Yeah,
making
that's cool.
beats, and then we found out you can record vocals on your computer, but the quality was so bad. We were using I kind of like a mic like this, something similar,
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
the audio was terrible, and we didn't know how to put effects to make it sound better.
Yeah.
Just sounded terrible, and but we would burn it on CDs, and I would sell it like on my school to the other students, and I would just put other songs on the same like CDR.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll put my song as the first song, and then the second song maybe is like DMX or Outcast or
Oh.
Busta Rhymes or something crazy like that.
Oh, the
And
good
people would
ones.
actually, yeah, yeah, all the good ones. And my terrible song would be like the first song, and my classmates would buy it. They were supportive, so
Wow.
made a little chunk of money just doing that. It was fun, and yeah, and it just developed like we started getting the proper software, like the full versions of even better softwares than that one,
Yeah.
and I had like a lamp, the office lamp, the one with the long arm,
Yeah.
and then I replaced the light bulb. I replaced it with a proper microphone, so I could like sit by my desk and then record on into my lamp with a mic.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Very innovative.
right. So me and my brother, like all the way, been doing music together a lot. Uh,
That's cool. Is he still
yeah,
into music as well? Is he doing something in that
little bit,
direction?
little bit, once in a while.
Yeah.
Not as much as before. It's mostly
Yeah.
me right now, but he's a great beat maker. He's a producer. Like he he'll just
Yeah.
do one crazy beat a year or something like that. But it
That's
sounds good. Like
nice.
he knows what he's doing, but he just
Yeah.
life happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you have a proper job.
yeah, that's true. Like
Nice.
yeah.
And what motivated you or what inspired you or who inspired you to do rapping rather than, anything else?
Oh yeah. That's a good question. It's probably because I felt like we could relate. Even ever since I was a kid, I guess my dad even usually played a lot of different genres of music, and rap
Yeah.
was one of them. Like a little bit of rap, but not a lot. But he listens to a lot of like black music or music
Yeah.
by made by black people.
Yeah.
Not only, but a lot. And somehow it's relatable. I feel
Yeah.
like me and my brother, we went through a little bit of racism. I would I wouldn't say that much, like not as much as probably Black Americans maybe go through in the states. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's still relatable when they rap about um, the oppression
Yeah.
that they go through. It's like, oh yeah, the police hate you. Yeah, they hate us too. Okay, I can relate to this music. Let me try to rap as well.
Good. Do you have
So
like any moment in mind where you really had someone being really racist to you, like something which stuck out, which you just always kind of remember?
um yeah, that's the thing. I would say that the racism that we experience is smaller things. Like in Norwegian, we call it everyday racism, which means it's it's racist, but it's a small thing. Like
Little hidden.
let's say let's say I'm on the train and everybody's supposed to have a ticket on the train, right? And the conductor, he only checks you. He only checks if
Oh,
you have a
wow.
ticket. He doesn't check the white people if they have a ticket. Like stuff like that happens a lot.
Oh, wow.
Or yeah, or you get stopped randomly. Like, we're looking for a criminal. Is it you? Do you have ID? Okay, here's my ID. Or at the
Okay.
airport, they're gonna do like all the extra checks. Like, yo, we gotta open your luggage and have a look. And
Right.
that can happen to anybody, but when it happens to you so many more times than with other people, it's like, oh
Yeah.
man, does kind of feel like racism a little bit. And kids call you the N word, or they call you like all kinds of racial words,
Yeah.
especially on the countryside, because they don't even know what you are. Like they can't tell, so they just call you
Yeah.
any kind of
They just
racial
see
slur,
you're a
you know?
little different. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, yeah,
And kids are so horrible sometimes in their words. Oh. Yeah, I can only imagine.
yeah. But I think a lot of people have gone through a lot worse racism than we did, but there's some, you know.
Yeah, but it still kind of makes you you now, right? Like you had some experience with it, so you can empathize with other people maybe even a little more.
Yeah, that's yeah,
And
totally
like it led you to become a really good rapper because
agree.
when we were talking and you were sitting next to me and you were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a rapper." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Cuz
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Because
know.
how long was our flight again? How many hours?
13
13.
hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
we had
because I
lots
think
of time
I only mentioned it like
at the
towards
end.
the end because
Yeah.
I didn't know if I'm supposed to say that or like, yeah, I'm a rapper, but
But yeah, I actually, once I was off the airplane where I
yeah,
finally at one point were able to charge my phone,
yeah.
I checked it, like I looked you up and I
Oh, you did?
really, yeah, of course. And I really enjoy it. Like, I think you're really good.
Cool.
It's super
Thank you.
catchy. If you would rap in a language I would understand, like English, I get. But
Yeah.
if you do it in Tagalog or in any of the other languages, then clearly I have no clue. But it's like it's a skill, and I think you're really talented. So that's pretty cool, and that's another thing I wanted to put out there, because it's not just someone who says like I'm a rapper. It's like you're actually doing a really good job. So
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah, anytime.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, another reason I started rapping instead of other, because you were asking about the genres, right?
yeah.
Because I can't really sing that well. That's another thing. So it, probably if I had a great singing voice, maybe I wouldn't be rapping at all.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's about um, you know your limitations,
yeah,
so you go this way instead of this way. I don't know.
yeah.
And also the poetry of the genre, the rap. Rap can be so many different things.
Yeah,
Sometimes it can be very negative or whatever, or sometimes just illustrating the struggles in your life.
yeah,
But uh, it could be very poetic.
yeah, yeah,
And when rappers get really technical, like when they truly master the art form of, let's say, the rhyming,
yeah,
the most complex rhymers in the whole universe are all rappers,
yeah,
because the way they make so many syllables in a row rhyme, like again and again and again, like
yeah,
let's say 10 sentences in a row have long rhymes,
yeah,
4 or 5 syllable rhyming. Nobody does that except for rappers. So it's a skill. It
yeah,
truly is a skill. So that I'm trying to master, and yeah, having fun with it.
yeah. Very
Yeah,
impressive. You also sent me the video of your like one of the most watched ones where you use also different languages. I think 6 different languages Like
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
uh, the Philippine language is probably more than just one: English, Norwegian,
Yeah.
Japanese. So, how
Yeah.
many languages are you actually speaking, and how many are you using in your songs?
Um. Well, the those six are. I guess I haven't used any more than those six. And the first one I did in that song is called Waray, and
Yeah,
Waray is a regional language of the Philippines, which is the one that's actually the one that my mother speaks with her family,
yeah,
from our region of the Philippines. So that's Waray, which is different from Tagalog. Tagalog is the one we speak here in Manila.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I live in Manila, by the way, for the listeners or viewers out there. They're very different. If you only speak one and you hear the other, you can't understand it. So they're actually different languages. A lot of Filipinos call them. They call it dialect
yeah,
officially, but it's actually linguistically it's different languages actually. So
yeah,
and on that same song, of course, I did Norwegian and English, which are my two. I guess I'm most proficient in those two.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I know a lot of Waray and a lot of Tagalog. Probably a little more Tagalog than Waray.
yeah.
Um, and during my studies, I was studying some Japanese, and then we got to go to Japan for a semester. So
That's
that's why
cool.
I was rapping a little in Japanese. My
Yeah.
Japanese isn't that great now. I forgot a lot of it. I was never that great at Japanese, but like I knew enough to make some little rhymes, um, make a couple of rhymes in it. And I think the last one I did in that song is called Cebuano, which is another Filipino language.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna claim that I mastered that language. It's just a language. A lot of my friends they speak Cebuano, and then I pick up like a few words here and there, and like
Yeah.
I'll be okay. I know enough to make a few lines, but I'm not gonna say that I'm fluent or anything. Then
Yeah, yeah.
'cause I'm gonna get a lot of haters if I do that.
We don't want that.
We don't want the haters. Yeah, but that's about it. I mean, I can understand Swedish and Danish as well, just because of the proximity to Norway. Like it's kind of like
Right.
almost like the same language.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
they're more similar than Tagalog and Waray are way more different than Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish.
that's very cool. Like, you can
Yeah,
understand most of it, but you can't necessarily use it. Is that correct?
with
Like Danish
Swedish.
and Swedish?
Yeah, it's weird things about Swedish is very easy when I hear it. I can
Yeah.
understand probably almost everything.
Yeah.
When I read it, the text, I'm a little slower somehow
Yeah.
because they spell things differently, maybe, but it sounds similar. And then
Yeah.
it's the other way around with Danish. It's almost spelled identical to Norwegian, but when you hear them talk, it's like, what are you saying, man? The pronunciation is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's like a similar thing with Spanish and Portuguese. I think it's like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
similar. Maybe the writing is very similar, but maybe some pronunciation is kind of different. I'm not sure. I'm just
Yeah.
rambling now. I think.
Well, that's pretty cool. Especially me now thinking I'm literally just able to speak German and English and
Yeah,
a few sentences in French, but it would
but
be
I'm sure you
amazing.
can understand like a little bit of Dutch, maybe like some.
Just because it's so close to German, yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand words and sometimes it's close enough. And I think sometimes
yeah,
Afrikaans is really close with like the Dutch language as well. So sometimes I
yeah.
can pick up some Afrikaans, but not enough to actually know what they're talking about.
Right, right. Yeah, I have some friends, Namibian friends and South Africans, and sometimes the word would be the same as in Norwegian, like only once in a while. Like
Yeah.
it's weird,
Yeah.
but it's all from the same family, like the
Yeah. Yeah.
Germanic branch of languages. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's true.
Norwegian, Swedish, German, Danish, Afrikaans. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But even my friends from Iran, with Persian or Farsi, even
yeah.
there are a few words which are the same with us and German. So it's really
Oh yeah.
interesting. Like language is such an interesting topic. But yeah.
Do you remember any of those words? That's cool. That's
um,
interesting.
well, I remember they also say merci, like in French, like
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. True.
And they say, for example, pineapple, we say ananas in German,
They say
and
ananas.
they say ananas. So it's so funny. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. I have
and
cousins that are half Persian actually. So
wow,
yeah, they
interesting
always like
family.
merci, merci. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. um, is there any particular artist you would really want to, go on stage with or have a collaboration with, or anyone who is really like your, not idol, but just someone you look up to and you think like one day that would be so cool?
Yeah, there are many. Here in the Philippines, it used to be this guy Glock 9, which I maybe mentioned earlier. Like he's one of the biggest rappers here. He's very poetic and
Yeah,
he's very his songs always have a deep meaning or a message.
yeah,
So and but that actually happened. So I have a song with him now and a couple of other rappers. It's called the
yeah.
Four Horsemen. So that was like a dream come true.
Wow,
So it was
congratulations.
actually, yeah, thank you. It was actually the same friend that used to help me when I was on vacation in the Philippines. Like
Yeah.
he helped me get to perform in front of these other artists, and then one day he called me like, "Hey man, need you on this song," and then this guy is gonna be on the song. Glock 9 is gonna be on the song. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and there's another one called Looney in the Philippines.
Yeah,
He's I don't know how to explain his style. He's kind of like a Eminem of the Philippines.
yeah,
Similar style. Sometimes he's rapping really fast and a lot of rhyming, like very meticulous rhyming, long rhymes,
yeah.
kind of like Eminem. Um, and yeah, in the states, so many. But
Like any of the
if,
OGs?
and yeah, any of the OGs, like. But sometimes it feels weird to name drop like the
Fair enough.
biggest rappers in the world. Like, yeah, I would like to work with Snoop Dogg. It's
Yeah,
not
as
really
you
gonna
do.
happen. So, Tupac, but he's gone.
Yeah, I wanted to say you're a little too late for that one.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, you can dream big, manifestation. So,
that's true. That's true.
and as you said, like you were hoping to work one day with the
Yeah,
one you just worked with, so that's already pretty awesome.
that's true.
Yay.
I
And
should be happy. I should be happy with that.
well, now since you got it, there's no reason not to, reach for more.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
I mean,
I'm pretty.
all the rappers that I listened to as a kid, like Outkast, Bone
Yeah.
Thugs, Busta Rhymes. Like, yeah, I would love to work with all of them, or like Kendrick Lamar, or
Oh yeah.
ASAP Rocky. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like I lost my train of thought. It's just
yeah.
gone. Well,
Oh
you
wow.
already achieved a lot. And if you wouldn't be as good, you you wouldn't be where you are right now. Like none of them would want to work with you if you wouldn't be doing a really good job. So
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. I love the hip hop community in the Philippines. Like all the rappers are kind of welcoming,
yeah,
and they tell you like when they like what you made, they let you know like, yeah, I like what you did on that song, or
nice.
so it's a really good community. So it's nice. Yeah.
That's
Shout out
good.
to all the rappers in the Philippines.
Yeah. Woohoo. And talking about welcoming, have you
Yeah.
ever felt like, do you feel like accepted in the Philippines, or are you also feeling like you are a little bit of an outsider, being not quite full Filipino, but also Norwegian? Or how do you feel in the Philippines? Are you accepted? Are you feeling a little bit off sometimes?
Yeah, I feel welcome. I feel accepted. They're really friendly and hospitable people. But also I never feel like I'm 100%. Like I'm always reminded that I came here from somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's the thing about being biracial, though. It's
yeah,
like in Norway, dark, I'm the dark guy from Asia. I'm the dark, scary Asian criminal-looking guy, and then in the Philippines, I'm that pale white man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
uh,
at the same time, I feel at home both places. Like people
yeah,
are welcoming, and especially when I get to know them, they get to know me.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of hard to describe, but I'll I'll never be 100% at home any place, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always more than 50% home, both
yeah.
places. Like let's say
I
I'm 80% at home in Norway, also here maybe like 75% at home here.
Yeah.
You know.
That's also nice to see it this way. I've
Mm.
listened to one other podcast before, and there was a lady, I think she was from Mexico and lives in the US. And she said she tried to not think she's just 50-50. She said she's trying to think like, I'm 100% Mexican, I'm 100% American, and it's just a plus. Like, she tried to make it
Yeah,
feel more like I'm just so much more. I'm having both cultures, and I'm just part of everything. But I guess it's really hard to feel that way because people make you aware, no matter where you are, that you're not quite 100% this and that.
yeah,
So I think a lot of people call it the in betweens, where it's like you're not quite this and not quite that. And
yeah,
like, it's, do you feel like a sense of belonging? Like how you said, if you're in Norway, you kind of feel 80%, and if you're in the Philippines, you're like 75. Is that a sense of belonging, or do you sometimes struggle to see yourself actually feeling like you belong anywhere?
there's it's been both. Like sometimes you feel like I don't belong anywhere, but but um it's usually when you don't know the other person that well yet. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this person is so different. That's what I'm imagining they're thinking about me.
Yeah.
And when they get to know me, like especially in Norway, when they get to know me, I'm so Norwegian, so Norwegian. With a
Playing in the snow in the hut.
Yeah, man, with a little sprinkle of like foreign stuff.
Yeah, some exotic.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So it's not a problem when you get to know people, like
Yeah.
at all. It's like we're just people, right? So it's
Yeah.
basically the first time people see you. That, yeah,
Yeah, having maybe some prejudice around it, depending on where they are.
yeah. Like here in the Philippines, I guess there's something like called white privilege or whatever.
Yeah.
Some stupid things like okay, so when you enter the mall, people, they're gonna check your bag. If you have a backpack or something, you have to open your backpack, and they have to
Yeah.
check it to see if there's maybe weapon or something in your bag. So it's very strict, like security, when you enter the mall.
Yeah.
And me, because I look white, sometimes they don't check my bag. So that's like a
Wow.
benefit in a way, but it's weird. Like,
Yeah, especially it's quite the opposite of what you experienced in Norway, right?
very opposite, right? In Norway, they'll be like, that guy must have a gun. Or it's so stupid. But so there's some benefits, and then some bad things. It's like when you take a taxi here and you look foreign, they might try to charge you like extra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of countries have that same issue when you're foreign. They are like, oh,
yeah,
I guess I take a detour or like charge just an additional fee.
yeah. Happens a lot, and maybe some tourist places they try to where yeah, they try to charge you extra for stuff, especially
Yeah.
if it's something that's there's no set price.
Yeah, yeah. And
Like
you have to
like
haggle.
yeah, yeah. So you have
Right.
to ask, okay, you just carried my bags 50 meters. I didn't ask for it, but how much does this cost, right? And they might give you another price than they gave the Filipino guy that just came right before you, right?
Oh God.
But at the same time, usually the tourist has more money than the local. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of balancing it out. Yeah, I get
yeah.
it.
Like
Especially the Philippines is not known as a really wealthy country, right? So it's probably still reasonable to sometimes just pay a little extra when you're a tourist, I feel.
true. Yeah,
But does it change when you start talking fluently? Because you're kind of fluent in
yeah, yeah.
Tagalog. And then they're
It's
like,
funny.
oh, oops.
Yeah, it's funny because I always speak Tagalog in the taxis
Yeah.
just to get the better price. And then I used to work at a company here with a lot of Norwegians, and a lot of them are totally fully white,
Yeah.
and but they were fluent in what I call like taxi Tagalog. It's like right, go left, it's like kaliwa kanan, para, ay dyan lang kuya. They're like right, left, just stop
Ah,
right here. Like all those words they
yeah.
can say with perfect pronunciation.
Right.
Anything else in Tagalog? No, they don't know anything. So they just to not get hustled, in the
Yeah.
taxi.
They really know how to get
And then
by.
another funny thing to me, um, I also had coworkers from Norway, but they were Filipinos, like full-blooded Filipinos. So three of us took a taxi, and then the taxi driver probably sees us, and he's like, if he sees the two other guys, he's probably thinking these guys are Filipinos.
Yeah.
And then we enter the car, and then we start speaking Norwegian to each other. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hustle these guys," and he starts doing all the detours and all that shit.
Oh
Oh, sorry for
no.
cursing. But yeah, it's like because he realized, oh, they're not Filipinos.
Yeah.
They only looked Filipino. I can hustle them now. Funny stuff.
But do you notice the difference? Like, when they're actually taking a detour?
Yeah, you can notice like, okay, why are we only turning left every time? Like this is we're going in a circle. Turning left. Oh, we passed this building already.
Oh my God. Another 20 minutes.
But to be fair, it doesn't happen that much. But
Yeah.
it happens enough that you
It's
kind of observe that. Yeah, yeah.
worth mentioning. Yeah.
Your skin color matters when you get in a taxi. Sometimes with some. drivers, right? Not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think are the most common or the main differences between Norway and the Philippines? I mean, obviously already the climate, but what's
Yeah. Yeah.
for you?
You mean like culture or?
Just, yeah, in general, what's the first thing you think of when you think about difference between the Filipinos and, yeah, especially in the cultural things?
Um, like Norwegians seem like, in a way, kind of like a big bunch of introverts. In a way, like we need our space. We
Yeah.
need some personal space. Like if you see a Norwegian bus stop, there's
Yeah.
always like, if there's one guy here, then there's 2 meters of space until the next guy.
Yeah.
And Filipinos are always crammed together,
Yeah.
so everybody's very friendly or hospitable or very know how to get along with other people.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's oftentimes like a little bit more superficial, like interactions
Yeah.
don't always go that deep. It's more on the surface level, maybe because you talk to so many people in one
Yeah.
day. Then Norwegians maybe like to go way deeper, uh,
Yeah.
the conversations,
Once they
uh,
let you in.
once they let you in. And Norwegians love to talk about the weather. Like, oh, it's sunny today, isn't it? Yes, it's very sunny. Oh, it's so rainy today. Yeah, I agree. I think it's because the weather is always changing so much.
Yeah.
You have every extreme kind of thing, like -30, or the snow or the ice.
Yeah.
Is it slippery today? Is it not slippery? Are you gonna slip and fall on the ice? Or in the summer it gets really hot, or it's rainy, or I don't know, but somehow for some reason you meet somebody at the bus stop, you're gonna talk about the weather for a few minutes, and
Yeah. Nice. We always say we have like a little saying in German as well, because
yeah,
mostly if you don't know someone, you don't really want to go too deep, and so you are like always. We say we talk about the weather and God, like just random
weather and God.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, random stuff.
random. Yeah, like, and what are you believing in? But
And
yeah,
Filipinos are more like, did you eat? Have you eaten yet? It's like concerned about if the other person like
yeah,
had food.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
And they always ask like, how many siblings do you have? How many, like very family oriented.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they usually have like quite a lot of children as well? Or like big
These
family?
days, not as much these days. But just a few couple of generations back, yeah, so many. Used to be so many.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I think with education, the the a lot of countries are kind of developing in that way, that not anymore, not getting that many children anymore. But
Yeah. Yeah. I get
but
that.
I have a lot of what you call it, grand aunts, or what you call that, like,
Yeah. Like from the older generations.
yeah, like siblings or cousins of my grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have big family. Yeah, but it's just that the my relatives having children now, they usually stop at two children usually. Yeah,
Yeah.
but my
Interesting.
great grandfather, he had maybe like 10 siblings or more, which is crazy,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you think about it, I feel like sometimes I'm really surprised because even here in New Zealand, some families still have like 12 siblings. And I'm just
oh,
like,
really?
yeah,
That's
I'm
a
really amazed because I could
lot.
not imagine. I also just had grew up with a brother, have one half sister now, and yeah, it's. I mean, I had cousins and all of that, and I have like a nice family as well, but
Yeah,
never that many siblings ever.
that's a lot. But even in Norway, they used to have more children like 100
Yeah,
years ago. You never know if your kid is gonna grow up to
yeah,
survive into adulthood. You know,
yeah, yeah, different times for sure.
different times, right? Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself now? Do you think you will keep going with your career and try to, go up the charts and become like the world most famous rapper in the Philippines and then internationally, or
Nah, I'm. I'll keep rapping because it's what I do. You know, it's a part of me. But I don't really need to climb the charts all the way up or whatever. It's like for most of my, I've always been in the kind of like a underground rapper. Um, so and I'm okay with that. You know, I realized like, do we have to chase that like the Grammys and
No.
not really. There's a lot of what you call that niches right within a genre.
Yeah,
It's like me, I have a group. My group Agaron. We rap in Waray. Like we're a group of three rappers,
yeah,
and we only rap in Waray, which is the language of my mom,
yeah,
and that whole region. It's like a couple of islands in the south. They have
yeah,
that language, Waray. So since we're making music in Waray, it's impossible to top the charts of the Philippines because it's just a minority language.
yeah,
And well, we're fine with that. Like we're doing fine for a Waray group,
yeah.
like in the Waray hip hop community. People know us and respect us or whatever. So that's cool. It's like don't really need that much more for me. It's like kind of like being a big fish in a small pond instead of being a small fish in the ocean. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like if you find your little pond,
yeah,
it's maybe a bigger chance for you to make an impact if
yeah,
if you want to make an impact. You know,
yeah.
instead of trying to be the next Taylor Swift or whatever. It's gonna be
Honestly,
hard.
like if you are content with what you're doing and if you are doing what you love, then
Yeah,
of course we don't always have to chase, the Grammys and all of this stuff, because at the end those things don't make you like happy
yeah,
anyways. Like having that in your, like, how many people in the public eye are actually really unhappy and depressed? So if you are happy with what you're doing, that's like perfect. So
yeah.
just keep doing that and just see what happens.
Yeah, because I think if my goal was to top the charts of the Philippines or the rap charts of the Philippines, I would probably make more in Tagalog, which is the main language, right, of the Philippines,
Yeah,
which is what they speak in here in Manila, and everybody all over the Philippines they learn Tagalog at school,
yeah,
no matter what their first language is. So yeah, I would probably be rapping like only in Tagalog, probably
yeah,
if that was my main goal.
yeah.
I've tried it a few times. No, I haven't. I actually haven't tried it that much. I've rapped a few sentences in a few songs in
Yeah,
Tagalog, but I've never made a full song in Tagalog. But at the same time, I would like to try it. Like
yeah,
I should probably do some songs in Tagalog just to do that, but not
yeah,
necessarily to try to top the charts.
yeah,
I'm happy. I'm content with just being a part of the community of hip hop here,
yeah.
yeah, I'm having fun.
That's awesome. And I will definitely keep following you around, seeing what happens with you. So I will see if there is at one point like a whole song in Tagalog and just see what
Yeah,
you do.
I should do that, right? And I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's cool. I also will, for everyone who's listening, tag you and your Instagram channel and some videos, and just so that people can actually see what you're doing, because I think it's pretty cool. But I also am really into
Cool,
rap,
cool.
and I'm a fan of
Oh,
Eminem,
you
and
are
like,
Eminem?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I listen to
That's
a
what's
lot
up.
of like, you know, black music as well. So yeah, I like it, and in that regard, I thought you were really cool, really good as well. So that's why I will tag you and will put your links in the notes for everyone who wants to check you out as well.
Thank you. And I gotta thank the whoever ends up clicking those little links and checking it out. Thank you to the viewers as well. Yeah.
Yay. So I end up, or I end every episode with like the quick three questions. It's just like quick answers, one word, one sentence in a way. So that's for
Okay.
everyone, pretty much same questions.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Let's go.
Sweet. If you consider settling down somewhere, in what country would you want to settle down?
One word.
Well, if it's
Norway.
multiple. Oh, okay.
Probably Norway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Philippines is always just like a little chapter for you.
Yeah. It's it's the 1 year that got extended to like 12 years so far. But
Yeah,
I feel like I'll end up in Norway. Maybe because of the benefits in Norway, like the healthcare and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah, I get that.
Pension. Yeah.
Well, then I hope that your girlfriend wants to move with you.
Yeah. I think so.
That's good. All
Yeah.
right. Question number two. What do you miss the most about Norway?
Family.
Yeah, I
Mm.
get that. And last question. What do you love the most about the Philippines?
The beach.
The
And the
beach.
food and the people. Oh, yeah. The people
Yeah.
and the food and the beach in that order, actually. I just thought of the beach because I miss going to the beach. I haven't been there in a while, so I need to go soon. 'Cause I think the best beaches in the world, like a lot of times, if you see the top 10
Yeah.
beaches of the world, usually the Philippines have like a few beaches on there. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Like Boracay is one place, and Palawan. It's really great. You should go. You should
Yeah.
go.
I definitely want to come and see, especially with my Filipino friends here. They also talk about how beautiful
Yeah,
it is. And every time they go, I'm like, oh, I would love to go, especially when they go. It would be so good to have someone local as well.
yeah.
So I'm having so many countries on the list. I don't even know if I live long enough to see them all. But
It's a
yeah,
big world, right? A lot of places to go.
absolutely. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
there. So I will hit you up if I actually make it over there.
yeah, yeah. Then we
Maybe
hit
you
the
have a
beach.
yeah, maybe you have a concert as well and I can just watch
Yeah,
you live.
that's not impossible. There might be some concerts, right? Right.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed it and it's such an honor. And yeah, I know it was like not necessarily given that you have the time to do the interview. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we found the time. Thanks for having me. I love doing
Yay.
this, and yeah, thanks to the listeners. Make sure you support the podcast, everybody, and
Thank you.
stay tuned for more. Yeah.
Exactly. And make sure you support a rapper named Denial RC, everyone. So thanks everyone for listening, and I hear you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.